Thank you everybody for watching this video. Push the like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and push that notification bell. It will help us tremendously to grow this channel. We have a bunch of stuff coming out for you, the fans, unique content, so please stay tuned. All right, JHK here for the AllStar, and joining me right now is UFC featherweight champion Alex Volkanovski. Alex, how's life treating you, man, in Australia?
Man, it's been good, mate. Everything's pretty much back to normal over here, so that's good. I left before my last fight, to lockdowns and whatnot. Come back and it was pretty much started opening up. So that's good. But yeah, man, things are going good. Training hard. You know, man, I never stop. But yeah, no pressure right now, man. Just chilling and helping a few of the boys that are in camp. Just get through their sessions and help them out. So it's good, man. I'm just really enjoying training at the moment, the coaching side as well, and so it's good. Just time to sort of evolve and just no pressure, man. That's the best way of putting it. No pressure right now. I don't have a fight to worry about. I don't have to start working game plans and structures or anything like that. Just go there, enjoy, evolve, work on things and break things down and help training partners and whatnot. But really enjoying it.
Yeah, you mentioned coaching. I saw that you and Joe Lopez joined the coaching staff of one of the teams on the NRL. Tell me about that a little bit more.
Yeah, rugby league. So yeah, that's why I used to play rugby league. But we've got the Dragons, so they're a local NRL team here. In that's the major league here in Australia, rugby league. So this is like the top clubs. Like these are the top sort of what would you call it, league? Yeah, top league. We're doing the Dragon side, so a local side that we're doing the wrestling, grappling sort of side of things, and it's been good, man. I'm enjoying it, so I love that type of stuff, man. Like, people talk about my fight IQ and all that type of stuff because I love breaking things down to a detail and working things out. Even though there's a lot of similarities, there's still a couple of things that you got to make adjustments to, right? Because it's a different sport, but I love that. You know what I mean? I love figuring out the mechanics and principles of things and really breaking it down to millimeters and whatnot, So I really enjoy that. That's why sometimes when I'm coaching, especially even jiu-jitsu or MMA or fights, I go real deep with things. Some people that either it's just too much or some people are like, shit, man, like I never looked at it that way, you know what I mean? Because I'm an oversharer sometimes, but I think that's made me who I am. That's why I'm pretty good at certain things, and that's why I guess that's what makes me the fighter I am, because I go into the fine details.
Yeah, definitely, and you get to pass on that fight IQ, man. I feel like that's so important.
Well, that's why I want to do some of these like sort of breakdowns. I'm doing breakdowns. Obviously, you can't give too much away, right? You know what I mean? Like, because you got to stay ahead of the game, but at the same time, that's what I think people are really liking. Some of the videos I did were just so raw. I just grabbed the camera, put it in front of me in one of the rooms, you know what I mean? Like no editing, nothing, and just me talking, and you know what I mean, or me driving in the car, and the people are just lapping it up. They're absolutely loving it because it's my take on a situation or a fight. You know what I mean? A breakdown, so they get a little look at how a champ sees fights. You know what I mean? So I'm giving them a little bit of that fight IQ type stuff, but not enough where they can use it against me.
Yeah, for sure. Now, fellow Aussie George Kambosos, he recently defeated Timofeo Lopez, someone you know, right? What did you think of his performance?
Man, it was a great performance, great fight. You know, I mean, it was I think Lopez just, you could even see in the corner with his old man in the corner, just like thinking they were just going to bully Kambosos. Even when things weren't going their way, it seems like that was still their game plan. Just come on, you're gonna get the shot. Just keep going, and which was quite surprising. So they thought they were just going to bully Kambosos, and Kambosos wasn't having it. You know what I mean? Obviously, he's been a little bit careful by catching him coming in and sort of fighting fire with fire, but he was sharp, mate. He looked good, and Lopez just kept trying to find that big shot, and I felt like Kambosos just kept touching him up. You know what I mean? And before you knew it, the rounds were definitely in favour of Kambosos. Obviously, Lopez had his moments, but I thought it was a pretty clear win for Kambosos, and bringing the belt to Australia. So that's something that, man, I love it. You know what I mean? Again, like especially in Australia, I support all athletes. No matter what sport it is. I want more champions on our side of the world. You get what I mean? So I'm all for that. So a lot of people might be like, they don't want to throw limelight to certain people, but I'm totally against that. I'm like, let's build up the sport where we are, and and just be supportive of our fellow Australians and whatnot. And I was all about it. So I was there and I was rooting for him, and it was good to see him go out there and get that win. So congratulations to him.
What did you think of Lopez pulling a Kanye West? You know what I mean? Kind of like taken away from, Georgia's shine, man. He just won titles.
It was silly because at the end of the day, it wasn't how him and his dad or his coach, thought it was. Everyone else didn't really see it the way they seen it. Like I'm pretty sure a lot of people thought, Kambosos won that fight. And, you did see, I think, the confusion why he must have thought it was a robbery is because, the ref even thought I won. It's just he would have thought Ant's still undefeated. He would have just thought that must mean Lopez. You know what I mean? So it was just a tricky situation. And, I don't think Lopez is that type of guy. But, I mean, it didn't look good. You know what I mean? I think he's seen the reaction from the crowd and he was like, oh, shit. He sort of tried to pull it back a little bit from there. But I thought Kambosos held himself well and just said, look, man, it is what it is. You can feel how you do, but let's, if you want to settle it, we can do this in Australia. So good on him.
Yeah, definitely a professional. And speaking of another professional, Dan Hooker, he's been in the news lately. He made a test cut to 145. We could see him next at featherweight. He's talking about the Korean Zombie. What do you think of him moving back down?
Yeah, man. You hear him talk about it, and I'm like, I see, because he's a big lightweight. You know what I mean? So you see him, and you know that he's made it before, but you just sit there and you're like, man, how's he going to do it? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you want whatever's best for or anyone. You know what I mean? Especially your teammates. So if he thinks that's what's best, and he showed that he can make it. If he still thinks he's going to be healthy there, good on him. You know what I mean? Again, obviously, people be like, oh, what if, you just have to meet? We'll worry about that when that happens. You know what I mean? But at the same time, that's just like any other division. I mean, it doesn't mean, oh, he's in this division, I'm not allowed to go there. That's not fair. You know what I mean? I'm not that type of guy. And I think if he thinks that's what's best for him, go 100% do it. You know what I mean? Again, as long as he's healthy while he's doing it, good on him. You know what I mean? And then if we have to cross that path, we will. Obviously, we're teammates and we're going to be supporting each other, helping each other out in camps, doing all that type of stuff. If we have to meet, we have to meet, and you worry about that then. But I mean, at the same time, that's not our goal. It isn't like, oh shit, we need to start game planning for each other. I mean, not just yet. If it gets there, it gets there. But if not, all good. So, but I mean, good on him. You know what I mean? If he can make featherweight, make it healthy and comfortably, mate, he's already shown that he's a professional and he can do some crazy things. You know what I mean? What he did in the last couple of fights, you know what I mean? He's a warrior. So credit to him. So if he can make featherweight, mate, he's got to be the biggest featherweight that's ever lived. You know what I mean? He's a monster. But I mean, hey, if he makes weight, I remember him making a comment about me weighing more on fight day when I was fighting at featherweight and he was a lightweight. But it's I'm when it comes to weight, obviously I don't look like a big featherweight, but I mean, when it comes to weight, I'm pretty heavy. You know what I mean? I end up getting up to about 76 kilograms or something fight day, and I think he gets about the same. But I think I've got a bit more a bit more sort of fat and muscle, to load that up with water and things like that. Where he's lean, he's even really lean at I reckon he'd be lean at welterweight, to be honest. But again, if he can do it and be healthy, good on him.
And if it does happen in the future, it's a very good problem to have as a team, right? When two of you guys are the best in the world.
Yeah, exactly right, man. And that's the same for any of them. I'm sure there's going to be, you're going to have guys in your gym, you're going to have big gyms, and they're going to have guys that are potential matchups. But I mean, what do you do? Is oh, yeah, we're not allowed. We're only allowed to have one part, one person from the team in each division. That's not how it's going to work. You know what I mean? You're going to help each other out, get each other to where you need to be. Come time that needs to cross that path when it's there. If you want to hold little bits of information just in case and whatnot, all right. But I mean, I'm the type of guy that I'm gonna help him 100%, and I'm sure he'll help me 100%. Then, if that happens, you worry about that then. But that was the sort of same mentality we had going into the Ultimate Fighter. I think we chatted about this where I said, you guys are, we're a team right now. Let's work together, get each other. You help them, they're going to help you in camp. Yeah, so this is going to favor you, and worry about you guys competing with each other later down the track if that happens, you know. And that was the exact same sort of way we went about it in the house, and that's how we'd go about it now.
Turning the tables to the featherweight division, the comments you made on your YouTube channel about Max Holloway, about his legacy, if he loses a third fight against you, you know, there was a big reaction to that. What did you think about, you know, what people were saying?
I didn't see too much about what people were saying, to be honest. I seen a lot of people that were like, "Man, he's got a point." You know what I mean? And it's a true point. You know, he's in a lucky position. Let's be real. Again, I'm not the type of guy. I'm not just going to throw shade, but he's in a position. There's some fighters that, you know, like Conor McGregor is sort of in that situation where he keeps losing, but I mean, there's still people that want to, you know, just throw his name out there and want to hype him up. Where, you know, same with Max. You know, even though he's a 0-2 with me, obviously people are going to be like, and say what they want. You know what I mean? Obviously that last one was a close one and whatnot, but at the end of the day, it's 0-2. Get over it. But they've still got his name in these conversations and whatnot. But put it this way, like I've said this time and time again, you know, I don't want to get too much into it, but if there was ever going to be a day I was going to lose, that was the day, our second fight. So we go out there and, you know, and that's what the UFC want. You know what I mean? So I want the next best guy. I've made it clear. So if Yair Rodriguez took out Max, bang, let's do it. I want Yair Rodriguez. He's proved he's the next best guy. So it's got nothing to do with anything but purely Max has proved he's the next best guy. You know, the UFC want to do it again. They told me we're waiting on that. We'll do that early next year. All right, let's do it. You know what I mean? Done. But, you know, you go 0-3. Like I said, these are things that I said. You go 0-3, you know, in your prime. They're trying to say he's getting better and better. You know, you go and you lose again. Man, like, you know what I mean? I don't think these same people that are obviously going to have a biased opinion, and I don't mean this as a shot, but I mean, you know, they're still giving him the benefit of the doubt. Oh, yeah, you know, and, you know, at the end of the day, you're 0-2, you go 0-3, then that doesn't look good. You know, these guys that are going to be diehard fans are going to eventually come to realization and be like, all right, you know, and that's it. You know what I mean? He's lucky enough where he's still getting another chance to even fight for the belt. There's not many people get that chance. And he's in a position where people are still throwing his name out there and talking about his legacy. And good on him, you know what I mean? Like that, good on him, you know, whatever. But that changes if you lose again, you know, and that's why I made them comments. And, you know, he wants to say that he's looking elsewhere and whatnot. You know what I mean? That's probably a smart decision. Go and make their money fights now while you're still a big name and while people are still throwing your name in these big conversations. Because again, you lose to me again, and he knows there's a good chance that's going to happen. All that goes out the window. You know, these big fights, you know, not many people are going to be talking about you as much. Again, I like Max. I don't mind it. Yeah, he plays the game and pushes his own narratives all the time and whatnot. And, you know, that's usually shots at me. But at the same time, I don't mind the bloke. You know, as a competitor, yeah, once we do work, I'm going to want to punch his fucking head in. He's going to want to punch my head in. That's it. But at the same time, he's not that bad of a dude. But let's be real. You lose again. You know, them conversations that people are having now is going to be much different if you go 0-3.
I was speaking with your coach, Joe Lopez, and he was telling me about the USADA fiasco ahead of the second fight. And I feel like that could have played a part. Do you feel like that played a part in the slow start?
Man, it's a tricky one because, you know, I'm not the type of guy. I don't like to, you know what I mean? I could have been, I guarantee you hear people throwing out excuses and whatnot and pushing their narratives and what, you know what I mean? Every time you fight, like, you know, whether it's, the leg kicks weren't even hurting and blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, just exactly. People are going to say these types of things, yeah? But I'm not like that, you know. I got the judge gave me a decision, that's it. But like I told you, you know, that's why I made that comment before. If I was ever going to lose, that was a day. You know, there's a reason why I say Aldo is the GOAT. Being undefeated in the division that he was for so long, think of how many times he turned up fight day and he wasn't on. You know, things weren't going his way, or he didn't feel good, bad weight cut, you know, just having a bad day, things like that, you know, anything, you know what I mean? Dramas, you know, it's MMA, you know, you could get caught, you know what I mean? Anything, you know, this is a crazy sport. And to stay undefeated for that long, even though the level of competition right now is obviously a lot more, so I don't think I need to have 10 years being undefeated to hit that GOAT status. But you get what I mean? That's saying something. That means something. You know what I mean? To be able to turn up and still get the victories when there's going to be times where things aren't going your way. That's incredible. And, that was one day as well. Like, obviously, you had the no crowd, which was a weird feeling in itself. But this whole USADA situation was something I don't like talking about because I don't want to, I don't need to make excuses because I won. But again, like I said, if there's ever going to be a day that I was going to lose, that was the day because I did not turn up. Obviously, you had the USADA, which was, let's be real. I don't know if anyone else got woken up in the middle of the night, halfway through their sleep. You know what I mean? Literally woke me up after 4 or 5 hours of sleeping, where I had another 4 hours, say, of sleeping left, and just broke me in the middle of my sleep halfway to do a USADA test the night before my fight. This is early sleep I'm going to get before I fight. Who does that? Mind you, I couldn't go to the toilet, so I had to water load. You know what I mean? I can just tell you how bad this was, but again, I don't feel comfortable doing it because that's just not the human being I am. But let's put it, I ended up having melatonin, didn't really think about it, even though I had to wake up in 4 hours. Because I couldn't get to sleep and whatnot, I don't want to make excuses and sound like I'm saying, I drank red wine, doing an old Costa, because that's not me. You know what I mean? I don't really want to go down that path. But, you know, taking the melatonin probably wasn't a good idea. Woke up a little like, oh shit, I better have some coffee, you know what I mean? So it was like that. It was just a shitty situation. I won't get into it too much, but I just, sometimes you're going to feel flat sometimes. And that day I felt very flat. Everything was forced. Everything I had to do was just forced, which was a uncomfortable feeling. You had the no crowd, which could have played a factor, so it felt like there was no adrenaline rush at all. That's why give me crowds, man. Like, I want crowds. I want that adrenaline. I want that feeling, man. And that's why I soaked it up so much this last fight. Man, I love that energy. I love that, that feeling, because I had absolutely none of that on Fight Island. Like, it was like, man, get out of bed and like you're just chilling there. And I was in the octagon. I'm talking to the corner. I remember even saying to the boys, I'm like, boys, talk to me. I'll hear everything, man. Like, I am that normal right now. It's not funny. So talk to me. You know what I mean? So it was just a weird one. But again, that's how that's what true champions are made of. You know what I mean? Like, things aren't going to go your way sometimes. You know what I mean? Fuck the excuses. Do what you got to do to get yourself out of them shit situations. Like I said, my reaction times, all that type of stuff wasn't on. I was not reacting how I usually do. I felt like there was no reaction time. So that's why I had to force things. I had to literally just, rather than hope that I'm going to slip and counter with things or hope to counter with certain things, it wasn't really happening. It was just fucking do it. Old Nike logo, just do it. That's how it was, man. And that's what the corner was saying to me, man, you just need to do more. And I just literally had to tell myself, just do it. And it was a weird feeling. But again, a lot of people in these sort of situations, even my last fight with Ortega, being in them submissions that you're in, you know what I mean? Like, not many people are going to be able to do what I did there. Things aren't going your way, but I'm going to keep trying to find a way to figure it out. I don't give a fuck. That's just who I am. And that's what I did that day, and that's what I did on that fight with Ortega as well. So, again, I hate it because, you're going to get people who be like, because I'm not the type of guy that would be like, and start always saying they got injuries and all that. Man, like, because we all have injuries. Max Holloway could have had a bad day that day too. He probably had injuries going through camp and whatnot. You know what I mean? Like, so you don't know that. So that's why you don't ever really come up with these things. And, you obviously got guys like Costa who will say that he got pissed the night before and just make up stupid excuses. I think that's pathetic. So it hurts me to even talk about that because, again, I don't want to go down that path. But like I said, there's going to be days you don't turn up. But if you can still go out there and win on days that you are not turning up, that shows you how much of a champion you really are.
The third fight, have you heard anything from the UFC about it?
Yeah, man, obviously we can't say too much, but the UFC have always made it clear that that's what we're waiting on. Obviously I wanted to fight earlier, but our division's in a weird situation where, we've got guys that are close, but we need, if Giga and Kader fought now, you know what I mean? There's an option right there. If Giga goes out, takes him out, you know what I mean? You got Arnold Allen on winning streaks. You got all these guys that are very close. So, but that was a fight that the UFC wanted us to wait on. So we were waiting, and we're like, we'll just do that. And they're going, March is, around March is going to be probably the day. So that's what they've said, and that's what they're sticking to. So that's what it's going to be. Obviously, people are going to play whatever games they want and do whatever, but that's just the game. You know, I mean, you know me, I don't really play the games, but you know, I know that's what's going to happen. They can say whatever they want, but it's looking like March.
Deep down inside, did you want Yair to win that fight so you had a fresh matchup?
Nah, it's win-win either way for me, I guess. Obviously, you got that case, but uh, you know what I mean. But then you still, because again, I love people. I do really enjoy the doubters. Like, you know what I mean. It's something that I guess I've always had. Even playing rugby league and me being short and all that type of stuff. You're going to be the underdog, even though I'm not the underdog when it comes to betting and all that. But there's still going to be doubters. People are still going to say something. You know, I love proving people wrong. Maybe like that chip on the shoulder is where I get a lot of drive from, because I've always been that small guy that, you know, people, you know, don't expect me to do things. You know, when I was playing front row rugby league, you know, they didn't expect me to go out there and make the most yards, be the hardest guy to tackle on the field, and all that type of stuff. And I love that. I love people being on the crowd going, look at this little fella. Look at this little guy, half the size of all the other props, tearing them all up. You know, I love that. So, you know, there's a side of me where, you know, again, Max goes and loses. The thing is, it's a win-win. You know, Max goes and win. People are, whoa, a trilogy, a big fight. You know, Max, blah blah blah. You go out there, that still works. That still helps my legacy. But if Yair goes and wins, all of a sudden he's the guy, right? Oh yeah, man, he's the man. Blah blah blah. Everyone's raving on about him. You go take him again. That's big for the legacy. So whoever wins that fight, that's a legacy fight anyway. You know, that's a big fight no matter what. So either way, you know what I mean. But again, to be honest, I probably wanted Max to win. I'll be honest. I probably wanted Max to win. You know what I mean? Because again, you know, I feel like I thought fought a great fight. Actually, you know what I mean. He fought a fight that I didn't expect him to fight. You know, Max wanted to, you know, do that volume strike and really put that pace on, and then was just never going to let him get going. So credit to he fought a great fight. And it was very close. People want to hype up whoever, but that was very, very close. Like, you know, it was a split decision, and I can see why it was a split decision. That second and fifth round was pretty close. Obviously, that first round to but the Max, definitely the third and fourth was all Max, and then very close rounds could have gone either way. So it was a great fight, man. Great fight, very competitive. I still thought that fight was good for our division. Look how many big fights we've had in our division, man. Bangers, even Shane Burgos in that. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's good. It's exciting. You know what I mean? So again, whoever won that fight was going to be a big fight, but we'll just see. We'll see what happens. March is the date I want to fight as soon as I can. So that's around March. You know, I don't know what date or whatnot. I think that's the date we're looking at. And get me in there, man, and get me a crowd, because I want crowds, because I'm absolutely loving it. I want that buzz again.
There's been a lot of talk recently with Ali, you know, Henry Cejudo's manager. I'm pretty sure you saw the headlines of Henry Cejudo's 100% he's going to come back next year, and it's going to be against you. It seems like they already written it out. The contracts are signed or something, man. What is your reaction to that revelation?
Man, mate, how long has he been saying sign the contract to me? He wasn't even in the testing pool. I think last year he was, or started the year, he's like, sign the contract. I was like, oh, mate, trust me, UFC ain't bringing no contracts with your name on it. You know what I mean? Again, like, a lot of it's going to be talk. I don't mind the guy, but I mean, you know, at the end of the day, I don't play too many games. You know what I mean? I don't do that shit. You know, I can play into it and whatnot, just for a bit of fun. And then obviously you got Max doing, you know, playing his games. I can play. You know, if there was going to be a time, it probably would be now. Yeah, let's be real. I just told you that. Yeah, there's a couple of guys. If there was ever going to be a time, and you know, Max wants to play these games, and you got you know, he ends up coming down, wants to squeeze one in. Again, I don't want him pushing in front of the line, but I mean, if there's no one else right now, all right, that's when it's going to make sense. But let's be real, the UFC ain't taking him serious. I'll guarantee the UFC aren't paying him what he wants. If he's fighting, he's obviously bring his, you know, the bargaining's never hasn't gone in his favor at all, and he's just fighting for whatever contract he was already originally on. But the UFC aren't throwing anything to me, so I'm not going to waste my time by pretending to hype it up.
Do you think Cejudo wants to come back or he needs to come back?
Man, you know, he wants to talk about legacy and all that type of stuff, you know, greatest athlete and all that. Look, some people are going to jump on it, but I mean, let's be real. I just don't think he has done enough. I think he's a great athlete, you know, Olympian. You know what I mean? That's incredible. That's just incredible. Two division champion, incredible. You know what I mean? But you know, I think you know, you just need more defense. Obviously, in the light featherweight division, um, how many featherweight, flyweight? Sorry, how many flyweight fights did he have? Because TJ ended up coming down, didn't he?
Yeah. He had
All
quite
right,
a
so then
few.
he went there. So he had two. I think he had two flyweight fights.
No, more than that.
Defended once. Are you sure?
Oh, title fights,
I'm
yeah.
not sure. Yeah, the defended. Okay, I know he defended the bantamweight a couple of times.
Yes.
But look again. So again, still a great resume. You know, beating Demetrius Johnson, even though it was a very close fight. Mate, I rate Demetrius Johnson very, very highly. So to even go out there and win a close fight is very impressive. You know what I mean? He fought a great fight. He fought the perfect fight. You know what I mean? Which you need to fight the perfect fight, and then you need to hope Demetrius Johnson is slipping a little bit. You know what I mean? But I mean, even that is a great feat in itself. So credit to him. You know what I mean? I don't want to sit there and throw too much shade at him because I think he's done some great things, but for legacy, and that's what what he really wants to push, and he wants to be the greatest athlete ever. I think he probably needs to do that a little bit more. You know what I mean? So there was a couple of fights that you know what I mean. You go out there and you go to bantamweight division now and prove yourself against someone like Peter Yan. That's saying something. You know what I mean? That's saying something. I think that's big for his legacy. He wants to go there and hopefully try and get it's a win-win situation for him if he goes in the featherweight division and fights me. Because at the end of the day, he loses. Does that really look that bad on his end? Not really. He goes up and even though we're not that far apart in size, because I'm pretty small for a featherweight anyway. But at the end of the day, people are going to be it's a featherweight beating a flyweight bantamweight. You know what I mean? And I don't get enough of that. Don't help my legacy. I don't think it helps my legacy at all. His legacy, if he wins, that's huge. If he loses, doesn't affect much because I feel like he's still expected to lose. So that's why he wants that. That's why he's not going out and calling out these guys like Peter Yan, mate. You know what I mean? The Sandman. There's even mate. There's some great fighters in that division as well. And so I think he said he's coming back. I think I've seen it. He said did he say he might be doing 135 as well? But he goes out there and takes out them guys as well. I think he can definitely leave a good legacy behind. Don't get me wrong, he's still got a good legacy. People will still be talking about it, but if he wants people to really throw his name out forever, I think he needs to do that a little bit more.
What would have to
That's
align?
why I think he needs to come back.
What would have to align perfectly for you to give Cejudo an immediate title shot?
Man, he's retired, right? So you go out there and prove yourself again in the bantamweight division. You take that belt back again, which is going to be a hard one because you know what I mean. Peter Yan ain't no joke. You go out through that. I think he deserves to push in the front line for 100% because then he's active again. You know what I mean? And he goes out, takes it. Now we can go double champ. Well, you can't sit there and then retire and then expect to come back and just jump in front of the line. That just doesn't really work. But I mean, I think if he goes back in here, or even if he did have a fight, one of the top guys in my division, because he can definitely fast track to that. You know what I mean? Do I think he deserves a title shot straight away? No, I think he needs to do stuff. The timing has to be perfect, as in there's no one else. The UFC throw my way. We make it all right. We get the paycheck. All right, let's go and do this just for the sake of it, just for the sake of a paycheck. You know what I mean? Go out there and do a lot of people a favor by beating up the cringe as well. You know what I mean? So that'd be pretty good too, right? You get a paycheck and you get to make a few people happy by beating up the cringe. But is it a legacy fight for me? I don't think so.
All right, one last thing before I let you go. PTSD, PTSD from injuries, terrible weight cuts, losses, and even damage taken in fights. Do you feel that is something that exists amongst MMA fighters throughout the industry?
Yeah, I think so, man. I do. You know what I mean? You're going to get guys that that's just how they fight, especially now. Yeah, we talk about the entertainment business and all that, and everyone wants to put on a show, but you need to have a good balance. Yeah, that's something that I've always been a competitor. You know what I mean? But right now, I feel like I've got a good balance. Where now I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's go put on a show. Let's give the fans something they want to see, but let's still be calculated. Let's not be stupid. Let's not go out there and be, let's go punch for punch. You know what I mean? Like we've shown that you can go out there and the last fight, for example, like every time, a lot of times when Ortega would hit me, usually I'm going with it, I'm checking or making him miss, he's pulling short. I'm always, I could hit him one, be out of the way of one. You know what I mean? And then look at the striking count as well. There was still plenty of volume in that, but calculated. You know what I mean? I wish I was more calculated. Didn't get put in them deep submissions. But again, it added to it. You know what I mean? So luckily, I'm a pretty durable type of guy, and I can get myself out of pretty shitty situations because that's just the type of guy I am. You know what I mean? I'm always going to at least do what I need to do to get me out of a shitty position. You know what I mean? That's what real champions are made of. But yeah, man, I think definitely you get a lot of guys that you're gonna. Maybe you bring it up because I made them comments about Max Holloway. I'm sure that's probably why you bring it up. And a lot of people keep talking about his volume striking, but let's remember, he's probably copped the most damage in UFC history as well. You know what I mean? So people, let's not be too biased. Let's remember that he's broken records on both ends. It's fun, it's entertaining, but man, I feel sorry for him later down the track. Hopefully he doesn't have problems. Again, even though I need to face this guy, and people be like, "Oh yeah, we're enemies" and whatever, But at the end of the day, I don't wish ill will on anyone. Hopefully he's healthy when he finishes his career. But copping that much damage and that throughout your whole career isn't healthy. And that's what I mean. Like, how can it last? And if it does, if he somehow lasts his career with a good chin, credit to him. But I guarantee you, there's going to be things down the track. Is that why he's not sparring as much now? Do I believe he's not sparring at all? I don't really believe that. But do I believe he's pulled it back a notch? Yeah, probably because of this. You know what I mean? Maybe they're even seeing some early signs of that type of stuff. You know what I mean? So, and they're a smart camp, so maybe that's why they're pulling it up. Going, if you're gonna fight this type of fight, let's save it for the octagon. You know what I mean? So maybe that's where he's going with it. You know what I mean? Maybe that's why he's not doing as much sparring. Maybe it's very light sparring, which it should always be. That's how we spar. We never spar 100%. We are always, it's a very technical spar. That's how we like to spar. We don't spar like idiots. So we don't get paid in the gym. That's what we say. And that's how he's doing it now. But that's the closest thing you're going to get to a fight without again having good training partners that aren't going to try and knock your head off, knock you out, and whatnot. Not try and hurt you. You've got a sore knee. They're going to try and avoid the knee. You know what I mean? Little things like that. If they have you hurt, you know what I mean? If I hurt someone, I'm usually saying sorry. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sitting there and taking advantage of it and go for a finish while I'm sitting there sparring a bloke. Whereas I'm not going to say, I don't think all gyms are like that. There's a lot of gyms that are completely opposite. They go out there and they just fight. And that's where you can get people. That's where you can get these problems later down the track.
Interesting perspective. Alex, thank you so much, man, for the time, and really appreciate it. Good luck on getting that fight in March. Whoever it is, it's a title fight, so it's always a big one.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's another ruby on the belt, mate. We're just gonna keep getting them rubies. You know what I mean? Keep getting them paychecks. But yeah, I don't want to waste any time. Let's get these paychecks. Let's get these legacy fights, these big fights now, while I'm still young enough and healthy and in my prime. So I'm not going to be in my prime forever. So again, unless I have to, if I move up, like upper divisions and all that, again, these fights need to make a lot of sense. We talk on good money fights and legacy fights and things like that. You never used to hear me talk about this type of stuff, but I'm really starting to, understand that and really, really appreciate that side of things, especially knowing that, hey, I'm not in the sport for forever. And, these legacy fights that we talk about, you want to be successful, they can help you be successful for the rest of your life, not just now. So, let's get these paychecks, but let's leave a legacy behind that we can, have something to build off forever.